Greetings and salutations, it's Chaos, and today I'm going to be joining the Wes SMP. If you don't know what that is, you should totally check out his stream. His Twitch will be down in the description below, and I highly recommend you check him out. But here is a short form of what it's supposed to be. There are 4 islands. Taga? The forest. There is the desert, there is flower, and then there is the lush caves. I'm a part of the lush caves. Our 4 islands have a singular goal: to take over the 3 other islands and become the world dominator and win a cookie. But of course, this has role playing and a bunch of other people on it, and I'm a little nervous because it's the first time I've ever done something like this. So let's get into this. I had a plan. Past Chaos had a plan that we were going to just record with people, and even if it was laggy, we were just going to do it. But it was a lot of all of us leaving and coming back on, so you're just going to get a narrated version of what happened, because I couldn't. I was looking back, and it was just, I did this for 3 hours. Anyway, here's what happened. After 30 minutes of listening to Wes's stream, he finally released the code and we were able to join the world. I was very excited for this, and when I was instantly put into the world, it was just immense lag. Couldn't move, didn't know what I was doing. After finally being able to move around and being punched a little bit, I was actually able to get my friend Barry on. Barry was over there and we were hit a few times, but I was able to find her and bring her over to the location that we needed to be in, which, if you of course didn't know, was the Lush Caves. We figured out we could sit on these steps, so we waited until I saw people sitting on the ground and realized you could sit on moss, and then that became my new greatest achievement, was being able to sit down on the moss. We were looking around at a few people, and then we were told the barriers were going to be open, which were barrier blocks, so they decided they were going to do a whole thing when they just deleted them. They did world edit and they deleted all of the barrier blocks, but of course as soon as they deleted and I stood up to go inside, everything froze. I mean, we broke the game. So we waited for a few minutes, but eventually we decided that we were going to all disconnect and then try to reconnect to the server, and we sat there for a few minutes actually trying to encrypt, and this is legitimately watching Wes's stream to see if he could get back on, because even he couldn't get back on. And eventually they told us we just couldn't join, and we were like, oh. And then Wes opened up the whole server thing, and it was like we no longer exist. So we had to wait a few more minutes to actually try to get it on, but eventually the server reopened and we were able to join the world. This time they decided they're going to be a little bit smarter about it and actually just have the server admins come by and just break the barrier blocks, which was a lot cooler, so I sat down and waited for that. Halfway through this I realized that I couldn't get back up and I freaked out. But eventually we were able to get back on. This is Barry being punched as our barrier block was broken, and I was able to enter the world. I chose to do to read, mainly because it had the word read in it and I thought it was really cool, but this is the world. Look how cool it is. And when I said islands, I meant islands. We are legitimately islands. So this lush cave area is like supposed to be like the caves on the top ground, but they had a bunch of different houses. Here's me exploring them. When I first came in, I called them orphanages because they're just beds and chests next door. Yeah, the doors were really annoying in this, but yeah, each place has a bunch of things. This one has crafting tables and furnaces. I walk into the next one, which is like another orphanage, and inside had chests, beds, but this time it didn't have crafting benches or furnaces. This one is just storage, so because we are supposed to be a team working together, we are actually supposed to store things in here. Not sure that's actually what's going to happen. And the last building, the tall building, actually has like more furnaces. They have all the things that we would actually need, so we had everything pretty much set up, so all I had to do now was basically explore and get items. The instant thing that I realized was how laggy the server was. My computer was handling it very well, but yeah, blocks being break, I was like, oh, seeds to make things, and I realized how terrifying this was going to be to try to get seeds. I mean, just placing stuff was unbelievably difficult at some points. But eventually, we got food. This kid, his name is Skelly, he gave me and Barry pickaxes and swords, so we were able to go mining, and Barry went down and started placing stuff so we wouldn't instantly die. But after a few minutes, Barry realized that the moss broke too easily, and she was a little afraid that she was just going to keep dying, and it wasn't that much fun, so she actually mined a few things and then decided to skedaddle. But I decided I was going to stay on, continue to mine, and try to make a farm. Actually, when I go back to the service, I realized, farm, I'm going to need a hoe, so I was able to find a tree that wasn't broken yet, which was very difficult, and tried to make a hoe. But this is when I learned just how laggy the server was. I sat here for a few minutes. This is actually time sped up. I'm on ×2 right now. I couldn't craft this hoe, and then eventually it just kicked me from the server. I don't know what was happening. I think it was because it's just new, but yeah, I couldn't get on for a few minutes. Several with like 15 other people that were in our VC. And eventually I was able to get back on, but crafting did not change. This was a complete and utter nightmare. I don't know what happened. My entire inventory, this is real time by the way now. I've stopped the ×2 speed, and I thought I already crafted sticks. It was being put in my inventory, random things were appearing, random things were disappearing. I was kind of freaking out. I didn't know what was happening, and all while this was happening, people suddenly couldn't pick up items outside either. This game just became unbelievably difficult to do, and I eventually kind of just gave up. I made a hoe later, I'm not sure when, but I did. This is how long it took me to eat food, which is why I wanted to get bread, simply because, you know, more food, but it was so difficult. You can see a few like saplings had fallen down, but none of us could pick it up. None of us could. Poor Skelly was standing there for a few minutes trying to pick up items. Me and him were going back and forth to see if we could pick up the saplings to try to grow trees, and we couldn't. We couldn't pick up anything. Nothing was getting picked up, nothing was happening at all. So eventually we gave up and we decided we were going to play Bed Wars, which is really fun. We lost the first game but then won the next two. But before we started playing, they had all told me they were all really good at Bed Wars, and I was debating to tell them that I literally have a playlist of me failing at Bed Wars over and over again, but I decided to stay really quiet and just protect the bed. So yeah, we won, and actually one of these games actually broke a bed, and I was really proud of myself, and I killed the person. But yeah, I was not the best at this game, but whatever. After that, we went back to the world to see if a lot of people left. They actually had, and we were able to pick up items, so we decided we were going to continue on this world and just continue getting stuff. So I collected more seeds to try and make my farm a little bit bigger. Skelly broke that, and I was very disappointed in him. But we went around, got some trees. We actually had a problem at one point. Yeah, there's our glowberries. A lot of farms trying to be efficient. We had a problem where some people were breaking beds and doing stuff that actually wasn't allowed in the group, so we got very upset and I threatened to kill them. Not in the VC, because they apparently were banned from that, which is hilarious. So, you know, while we were collecting seeds or doing stuff, they came in and they broke leaves and we were all panicking, getting really annoyed. But a lot of this part of this was us actually figuring out what we were and weren't allowed to do, which is really a lot. Should have been explained, but a lot of us weren't reading the Discord, which was our bad. So after mining, which I had iron before I had stone, I feel like that just describes the level of what I've been doing. So after, you know, mining for a little bit, getting more seeds, doing some stuff, exploring the map a little bit more, we found a few stuff like caves and crystal caves, so we got really excited. My farm got a little bit bigger. I killed the skeleton. Actually, I didn't kill it. The skeleton killed me, and then I had 2 players go and kill the skeleton for me so that I could get my stuff back. I actually didn't get anything from this. I'm not even sure why I decided to fight the skeleton, but I thought it was really cool because I was fighting it while I was lagging and I didn't even see it hit me. But yeah, I got my stuff back, and then I decided I was going to explore one of these underground, because we are the lush caves, we get the abandoned mine shafts. So we decided we were going to explore abandoned mine shaft to see if we could find any chests with stuff inside it, and I decided I was going to take on another skeleton, which, mind you, I found this guy because we were just hopping around being really dangerous, and Skelly literally left because they didn't want to defeat the skeleton, and I decided I was going to fight it again. And as soon as I decided I didn't want to die again to a skeleton and ran away, the skeleton died and I got the Monster Hunter, like, achievement.
Once back on the surface, we had figured out how to create bone meal, doing the whole seeds in the barrel, and got bread, and then we decided we were going to do some landscaping, which I'm not sure if we were actually allowed to do, but we got really annoyed of jumping over this, so we started to fill in the water and basically make this a lot more nicer, like a pretty little pond. This was the weirdest thing ever because of the way that the water was flowing. Because of the amount of lag, it was keeping the water flow as if they were a source block, so I had to literally place stone everywhere just to try to get rid of the water, like, at all, and it it was a lot of fun actually trying to figure out how to get rid of this water, especially since you would place blocks and they would disappear or reappear and you try to break things and you don't know where they are. So this was the greatest build challenge ever, especially since we also didn't know what each other was doing. Half the time we were putting things and then destroying things and being like, oh no, we needed that, oh no, we didn't need that, or where are my blocks going? They're disappearing. But eventually we got this whole thing looking really pretty and really nice, and I actually like how it turns out, so I hope we don't get in trouble for doing this. Around this time we also saw the people that stole the beds, and they broke the leaves. I'm not sure if you can see in the little house we have leaves down there. In one of these next clips you'll see that they have actually disappeared because they went over and broke them to try to get saplings, and this is when we actually freaked out and we kind of like chased them to their little islands. They actually went on an island not off of ours because us three kind of just took over this place. So here's, our builder building things, making it look more pretty. We ended up having to get rid of the waterfall, and then I got irritated because there was no waterfall and no way to get back up to the island, so then we made a waterfall, and then we found moss, and we're making more bone meal, and making more bread, and actually figuring out how to play with the lag. And eventually we decided that we were just going to go mining because we needed more resources to get like buckets and things, and then we were told we couldn't use the crystals. So crystals were going to be currencies, so we shouldn't be actually mining any of the crystals in our little crystal mines. So we got really upset because we all really wanted to make telescopes since our place had the copper, a lot of just stuff. So we got really upset and kind of didn't know what else to do since, like, we had this waterfall, we did everything, but then there's nothing else to do, and then we saw the people that broke the beds were in the crystal place, and we didn't know what to do. And then at one point we went over to the people that broke the beds to go get moss from their side, and this is really funny because while I was breaking their moss and mining coal on their side, one of their people gave me the little the spyglass that we weren't technically allowed to have because we weren't supposed to read crystals, but they gave it to me, and I got really you'll see I got really excited with the spyglass. I have not used the spyglass before. I've only tested out 1.17 in that one video that I made, which I have not played on it again, so this has basically been a whole new experience for me. So yeah, I mined all this, and then they gave me the spyglass. They gave me it, and I didn't know what to do. I held it up, and I became obsessed with this. This is basically what I did the rest of the video, was just play with this spyglass. I was so excited. So we basically became friends again. I later on saw them, and I gave them coal, and then I gave the rest of the coal back to Skelly, who was smelting, I believe, clay, because he was going to be making things, and this is pretty much what happened last. Making more bone meal, planting more stuff, getting food. The server was starting to actually function normally. Skilly ended up changing their skin, and I decided I was going to call it a night. Anyway, if you enjoy this, hopefully next time I can actually get my Discord to work and have the game not kick me multiple times, and so that way I'll have to be able to do a solid video with interaction with people. But a lot of people are streaming this, so if you'd rather just have me do small bursts where I narrate things, totally let me know. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see where exactly we continue with this. Hope you enjoy and have a wonderful day. Bye!